welcome to another episode of Postin Presents the Show with Miss Dopalicious. Tina is out for today, but she's with us in spirit and question. And today's episode is HIV. It is not a life sentence. Today I have with me Jermaine Couch. He is a medical case manager and HIV counselor. What does that mean?
So actually, medical case management means I provide services for any individual who's HIV positive. In an infectious disease clinic, I actually work with a community health network through Ryan White Services. So you can call me medical case manager, medical social worker, and a friend at the same time.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Jermaine, and letting us be able to have some true insight on what it is to what HIV is, what it is to have HIV, and what it is to live with HIV.
No doubt.
A lot of people still have a lot of confusion and misconception of HIV and then HIV/AIDS. So what exactly is HIV and how is it contracted?
HIV is human immunodeficiency virus, and it is basically a virus that attacks your immune system. And you can get it through a number of ways. For our IV drug users, you can do that, or you can contract it with sharing needles, dirty needles at that. You can also share. Moms that are pregnant with HIV can pass that on to their fetus, through their babies, through breast milk, and then also through the ultimate, through sex, unprotected sex.
So kissing?
No, not kissing. Not at all. Gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of survival. Not at this point.
Okay.
Data says, and CDC says that you can't get it through oral sex unless that person's HIV positive and then there's cuts in the mouth, and you can get it through
cuts
that.
Cuts in whose mouth?
The person who's given.
The person who's given, who has the HIV?
Exactly.
Okay, what if the person who has the HIV, but it's the other person who maybe has dental work or something like that, and then they're kissing someone who's HIV positive?
Can't get that.
Okay.
Can't get it that way.
All right, so you can't get it through kissing. Can you get it through maybe if somebody's cut and you
So blood on blood, because it's all through fluid. If you think about it, it's all through fluid. So it really has to be just on a literal sense. So for example, if I have HIV, I have an open cut, you have an open cut, and we,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can get it through that.
Like those old school blood promises?
Exactly.
Okay, so we don't do those anymore. Y'all don't. The young kids, back in the day, you do a little prick of the finger or something.
Yeah,
you want to cut that out.
You suck blood like, oh, we going to be blood brothers and blood sisters. Nah.
Okay.
That's the only way. But once again, it's through bodily fluids, basically. Once again, sharing needles, and then unprotected sex. So that all correlates with bodily fluids as well.
Okay, so what's the difference between HIV and AIDS, or how does HIV turn into AIDS?
So HIV is basically the virus, and the only way that you can get into the AIDS realm is if it's untreated, and it goes. What happens is white blood cells, we all have white blood cells. The virus takes over that white blood cell count, and if it's more HIV cells than it is the white blood cells, it can turn into AIDS. AIDS is the quote-unquote death sentence. There's not a lot of people that come back from that, but if you are in an AIDS status, if it's treated within a timely manner, you can become back into undetectable into that HIV status as well.
Okay, so the primary thing is getting the care.
Exactly.
When you find out, get the care. Don't let it escalate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the tricky part, while we're into it, and I know you probably asked that later on, but the tricky part is there are a lot of people that don't know if they're HIV positive or not. So with me and in my position, we kind of, and even with the primary care doctors, they're pushing that agenda to say if you go get a physical, you want to know your status.
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it includes getting blood work done, and then they'll determine whether or not you're HIV positive. A lot of people are scared because they just don't know their status. And I thought about this on the way here. When I first got my HIV test, I was scared. The reason why, because I thought about all of those old nights, those late nights, those irresponsible nights, and it goes through your head. But the thing is, once you get that test done and once you know your status, you'll feel that much more better. Much more better.
Are there symptoms?
Symptoms you can get, but a lot of times, sometimes people don't get those symptoms until late. Meaning you feel fatigue, you may lose some weight, you may see blotches on your skin, just different things, and it varies. But once again, the only way is to know your status.
Okay, I know.
So I encourage people to get tested.
Back in the 90s, you know, it was one of those things, I was telling you about this not too long ago, about, you know, people, I don't even think it was a big thing about HIV. I think it was just AIDS. Like, don't catch AIDS. You know what I mean? And, you know, my experience with witnessing somebody, it was a young lady at my church, and we found out she had AIDS. You know what I mean? And then the next thing you know, they're bringing her to church and she can hardly walk, you know, and then the next thing you know, she's deceased. I remember watching this movie, and I can't remember I'm not good with actors and stuff, Philadelphia, and he had those blotches and stuff, and so I think he didn't have too much of a warning, or he wasn't, you know, too informed, and then he had AIDS by the time he went to tell his partner. So does it happen like that now, or?
So, you know what, and you got me thinking a little bit. So, 90s, prevalent with HIV, AIDS, all of that good stuff. The reason being is because there wasn't a lot of good treatment. Technology wasn't as where we are today than it was back then. So I was thinking, I'm in college, I played basketball, and what shook the world was when Magic Johnson came out. You remember that?
Yeah.
Magic Johnson came out, and with me being a basketball player, once again, you go back to those days where you thought like you weren't being responsible, and you thought about a lot of that stuff, and then you talk about what people knew at that time. HIV was a gay man's disease, and all of that stuff. So when you think about it, it happens the way sometimes you just talked about with the friend or whatever in church. But once again, I'm gonna go back to what I mentioned before, being tested, number one, know your status, and then number two, it can happen like that because people generally just don't know if they're HIV positive or not. So
does that have to do with maybe too also having a compromised or already low immune system, so it attacks maybe your body faster?
All of the above. There's some people that, people that are IV drug users, people that are out there sharing needles. We know that stigma. They're either homeless, they're outside, they're doing drugs, so they're not taking care of themselves.
Right.
So yes, the natural portion is your immune system is weak, right? So when that virus takes over your white blood cells, obviously you're gonna get sicker, right? But once again, what do? We're gonna sit back, we're gonna take some NyQuil, we're gonna do whatever we need to do. We might even do our holistic thing, and we'll talk about that later. But we might sit back and say, I just need a couple of days. But in a couple of days, you generally might feel better, right? But once again, you just don't know.
Right.
So it does happen the way you just said it.
Okay, so you mentioned Magic Johnson. How did he all of a sudden not have AIDS or HIV, and then here it took us 15 years until we got this undetected status that we're able to have? Is he cured or not?
So you just do not stop having HIV.
Okay, so he has it.
He has HIV, but the thing is, with technology, there's not enough virus in the system to detect whether or not he's positive or not. Or the quote unquote word is undetectable. So with Magic finding out he had HIV and getting it treated when he did, of course people are going to say, oh, he don't have it anymore because of his money and all of the doctors and all of that good stuff. But you just never stop having HIV at this point, right? You still have to take your medication. Magic Johnson takes his medication just like everybody else with HIV does. So that's the reason you come up with the undetectable status. That's a medical term. So a medical term is the amount of virus that they test that you can't find. So below 20, I want to say something. I can't give you that term. I'll be lying if I do. But when they look at it under a microscope, you can't see it. So that's when you become undetectable. Okay.
So it's still in the body.
It's still in the body.
Is it transmittable at undetectable?
So once again, and here's the technology, and this is CDC terms.
Okay.
Undetectable is equal to untransmittable.
Okay.
Okay. So when you talk about that, you talk about a person that has been taking their medication, a person that is undetectable.
Okay.
You can, according to the CDC, you can have sex with someone if your HIV is in control and undetectable without passing it.
Okay.
Right? Like I said, I don't have numbers with me today, but there's a 90-some-odd% chance that you can't transmit that.
Okay.
But once again, that person with HIV has to be undetectable.
So, can they, if they get off their medicine, can their numbers come back up and then they become detectable and transmittable?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am. And so that's what, like, for me, being the medical case manager, I think that's the toughest part. For me, some other people might say something different, but the toughest part for me is in our community, and I was running some numbers before I came as well. So Marion County, this is in 2022, Marion County had about 50 to 100 people living with HIV. And in our community, and I'm saying the Black community, African American community, about 50% of those individuals were African American. Okay. Okay. So when you look at that, those are the 19-year-olds, those are the babies, those are the grandparents, those are you just generally don't know. But 50%, and this is in 2022, 50% of the population of that 5,000 were African Americans. Wow. So dig, when you talk about being on medication and when you talk about staying on your treatment regimen, seeing your doctor regularly, that's important to me. And it hurts me sometimes because I do get those individuals that say, I'm undetectable now,
and
I can miss a couple of days.
Right. So
missing a couple of days can also show risk factors. So with the medications work, they work awesome. However, if you get to the point where you start getting lazy and you start missing medication and you say, okay, I can miss a couple of days and get back on it, you can become resistant to medication, right? So that means, and there's a lot of medication out here. There's a lot of HIV medications that are out here. You see the commercials with the Biktarvy, the Dovatos, and the Cabenuvas and all of that good stuff. But if you are non-compliant with those medications, you can become resistant. That means that medication can primarily stop working for you if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So yeah.
Would they be able to switch over to another medication, or you don't know?
You can, but that's, you become resistant. So that starts to decrease your medication regimen, or it starts to increase what you have to take. So instead of taking that one pill a day, now you have to take 2 and 3 because you're resistant to certain things that you shouldn't have been if you were taking your medication at one point.
Okay, so at one point, so say, you know, me and a partner, we do the rapid test, or we go somewhere and we get our HIV test, and he's undetectable, and we both are negative. Okay, and then we have a consensual unprotected sex, and then me not knowing that they're on a medicine for undetected, is that something, first of all, should they divulge that? Do they say, I'm positive but undetectable, or are they not?
So here's the thing. There used to be, and it switched, so there used to be a law. It's a law. Duty to inform. Okay. Or it used to be duty to warn, I'm sorry. Okay. So the duty to warn protects you and your partner. The partner that's positive, having sex, is supposed to let you know beforehand. So there's three times that you're supposed to let anybody know, or a couple times. Number one, if you're donating blood, you can't do that anymore. So you can't donate blood if you're HIV positive. Okay. That's number one. Oh, I don't say number one. That's one of the factors. If you're having sex, or if you're getting ready to have sex, whether you're unprotected or protected, you have to let your partner know that you're HIV positive. And then number two is if you're if it's court ordered as well. So in a legal aspect, you have to let people know.
So regardless if you undetectable, you're responsible to let your partner know.
If you are HIV positive, you have to let your partner know that you are. And here's the thing. They switched it from duty to warn to duty to inform.
Okay.
So you have to let your partner know, you don't have to let your job know. You don't have to let your
What about
grandmother.
me as a beautician
I don't have to let you know any
implements
of that.
as far as like, well, because when I was in school and we had our
Now your utensils have to be sanitized.
But we were supposed to be informed of our clients were supposed to inform us if they were HIV positive if we use a razor or clippers or anything.
Because that's something that could nick a person. That's something that can
do that. Is that still something that...
duty to inform.
Okay.
That's all the same.
Now, the next spinoff is, what if they inform me and they're on their medication or whoever and they agree and they're on the medication and then they stop taking the medication? At that point, does it become a criminal act?
Now, I don't want to sound like I'm not versed in that because I don't want to get the specific portion of it. But if they stop taking their medication, they're in the wrong because they're supposed to be on treatment.
Right.
That's the only way you can become and stay undetectable. So yes, and I'm going to say no as well because I don't know the actual specifics.
Okay.
So yes and no. If they stop taking their medication, they're automatically in the wrong because now they're potentially can have viral loads back and they can potentially become out of that undetectable status. So now you're potentially putting your partner in harm again because you're not undetectable anymore.
Right.
So yes, and then no because I don't know the actual specifics to the legal realm.
Okay. So we had another guest who was going to tune in or come in. We have a mutual friend who was HIV and then AIDS. They were involved, her not knowing that he was HIV positive undetected. But she found out through seeing medication or something. Well, it's a few people that have been involved with this particular person, and they were not informed. So for 10 years, the person who was going to be the guest today, she informed me that she, was a nervous wreck and was still, trying to find out, up until 10 years is when she finally got peace of mind of knowing that she, was clear. And I know, like, when we first got informed that with AIDS, it's like it can lay in your system dormant up to 7 to 10 years. Is that still true? Or when you go get their rapid test, is it actual then, or is it like...
So here's the thing, and you can get the rapid test, but there's also, when you get a rapid test, there's also certain things that will create a false positive as well.
Okay.
So that's why once you get the rapid test, you get the blood draw as well.
Okay.
So
if you test positive.
If you test positive.
Can they give false negatives?
All of the above.
Okay.
But that's why you get the blood test.
Okay.
So you can go and get a rapid swab and all of that good stuff. Those are good to have because, I mean, you can do it and find out right then and there. But then also, you don't know, and there have been instances where there have been false negatives. So you want to get that blood test.
Get your blood test, y'all.
Get your blood drawn.
Okay.
That's when you go get a physical, when they test for lipids, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of that stuff, you can say, can you add, and it's comprehensive, so that means it's all covered. Your insurance will cover it. So you can ask for an STI testing, which is sexually transmitted infections or diseases. People call it STDs as well. You can get an HIV test, and they will tell you that chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, Hep B, Hep C, and then also HIV, those are all included in comprehensive tests. So you can get those things done right there with your blood draw.
And that's with most insurance, Medicaid?
Insurance covers it.
Okay.
It's comprehensive.
So y'all don't have an excuse not to know your status.
Thank you.
Y'all don't have an excuse to be going around here infecting people because, first of all, you can find out your status and then you can take care of it and you can be healthy and not go around making other people unhealthy.
And it's all over social media, and you see it on, like I said, the most common thing that I see from people when they come in is, I want to get on Cabenuva. People are like, what is Cabenuva? It's an injection you can take. It's an HIV treatment. It's an injection you can take, but you only have to take it once every other month.
Is that like the PrEP? What about these
PrEP,
ones that people are getting?
So here's the thing. Here's the other thing.
Okay.
So since we're on it, because you just asked it. So a lot of here's another prevention measure for you guys or for anybody. That the question that you asked was, if you're undetectable and you have a partner, blah 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 blah, and we're having sex. So the other thing, and you just mentioned it, PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. That is something that your partner, say for example, I'm positive, I'm undetectable, but you're still unsure of having sex with me, you can actually get on PrEP.
Okay.
And it's a 1 pill a day.
Okay.
You can take that every day, and unprotected sex you can have. It's a 99.9% chance that you can get infected with HIV. So PrEP is awesome. You can get it. Most insurances cover it,
Okay.
and you can get on PrEP. The only thing that they'll ask you to do is you have to get an HIV test first, and then they'll lead you into an oral lead, which is the medication.
Okay.
And you take that medication. You'll get tested again after 30 days, and then from that point on, you should be fine.
So that's a preventative measure.
Exactly.
For those of you who don't ask for the mod charge, for those who ain't going with your partner to get the blood work, get on PrEP. I'm not saying get crazy, but you can be, a little bit more protected.
Use condoms. I mean, and I'm going back to when I was older. I mean, when I was younger, I'm sorry, I am older now, but when I was younger, it was taboo for women to carry condoms in their purse.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
You off the hook.
Yeah,
she doing everything.
She must be fucking.
Yeah, she doing everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm protecting myself. Everybody dealing with shit.
Hold on. So you think about it. Like, I would rather for her to have it, because we was guys and we was like, shit, I ain't gonna carry no condoms. Or I go get one, and the condom we had is old as hell. It's in your wallet. It's wrinkled up.
Yeah.
You don't even look at the date. They have dates when it expires and all that. But then the woman that has it or the girl that has it, you like, damn, she a freak. But now, be like, shit, you got one, I got one too.
That's right.
So it's all good.
So don't be ashamed to protect yourself.
No doubt.
So we've already talked about the fact that if you take care of your HIV, it probably doesn't turn to AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the guy who I was talking about, he died from alcoholism, from dealing with the guilt and what he went through, having and not telling people. So when people pass away now from HIV or AIDS, is it normally actually the virus, or is it other lifestyle?
It's a virus. I mean, so in that situation, it could have been a combination of both, because he probably wasn't taking care of himself. If he was going through some stuff, and I want to add this too, and we'll probably do it at the end. But what I do, and with my crew of people that I work with, we have mental health individuals on staff that can talk you through different things, and they're unbiased. So that's one thing about having a counselor on deck with you, is you can talk about things that you probably wouldn't tell your friend, right? And they're unbiased information. But it probably was a combination of both with the buddy you were talking about, because he probably was untreated, and then you have alcoholism involved. So today, and I'm saying today in 2025, the average lifespan for a person that is HIV positive is in the 70s. And the reason being is because the treatment is great, the providers are great, and if you're following that regimen, 9 times out of 10, and I'm gonna drop that number because I don't like talking about death like that, but 8 times out of 10, you'll probably pass away something other than HIV, from something other than HIV, if you are doing your treatment and doing whatever you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, well that's a pretty promising life. I mean, that's...
For sure.
Okay, so, what's, I guess, could you kind of like walk us through what a day is like being an HIV counselor? Like, you're in the office and then...
Well, I ain't gonna say tough, I love it, because number one, I'm a people person, and you see I talk a lot, but here's the thing. So I'm gonna walk you through like a wild scenario. I don't say wild, but a tough scenario, and then I'm gonna walk you through an easy scenario.
Okay.
Tough scenario meaning person that's newly diagnosed. So, and I've been doing what I do for like the last 17 years. So I'm gonna give some shouts out to some people and some places. So I started with Damien Center, and Damien Center is the oldest HIV care site in Indiana, period.
Okay.
So I worked with them for 10 years, got my feet wet. Before that, I worked with Salvation Army, Harbor Light, in human services. So I've dealt with the homeless, I've dealt with drug addictions, and I've also dealt with HIV. They all kind of like run hand in hand. When you see a person that has been through something like that, 9 times out of 10, they're duly diagnosed. So that means they probably have some mental health issues. They probably had, some addictions. We all know those people.
Right.
But typical day, and we have people on staff. So say, for example, you want to go get tested. We have somebody on our staff that will test you, and you're positive, right? That's one of the toughest days, because some people don't know how to take it because of the stigma. I'm dying. is the first thing I hear, or what I'm gonna do for my kids. I ain't gonna be there for my kids. And you sit there and you kind of sympathize a little bit. So I kind of wear like 17 different hats. So at that moment, I become a friend first. And I always, it might not be the right thing to do, but I always tell my individuals who are newly diagnosed, the worst part is over. And the reason why I say that is because now you know your status.
Okay.
So the worst part is over because now you're not going through your head about playing back what you did wrong, who you had sex with. Now you know. And then the second part is, depending on the person, I give a hug. You know what I mean? Because whatever you hear on TV or whatever your friend tells you sometimes, it's not the truth. So, and then I go and talk about what we have in our community is we talk about HIV 101. And that's actually explaining what HIV is, explaining the cycle, explaining what we talked about earlier, how that virus takes over your blood cells and it replicates to take over your body. And that's when you feel sick, that's when you get nauseous, that's when you lose pounds and all of that good stuff. So HIV takes over those cells. But then I also go into what treatment is. So treatment is about following what your doctor has for you to do. And then treatment is also the medication portion. And then I also talk about ways that we can help with treatment. Y'all, treatment is extremely, extremely, extremely expensive. So a 30-day bottle of Biktarvy can cost you $3,500.
How can anybody afford that?
Here's my thing, $3,500 a month. So you're not gonna be able to afford it. I'm not gonna be able to afford it. So what we do and what each state does is they have what I work for is called Ryan White Health Services. Ryan White was a little white kid back in the early, people are familiar, back in the 80s, late 90s, or I'm sorry, late 80s, early 90s, that had HIV and they didn't want him to go to school. They stopped him from going to school.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson helped with all of that good stuff. So before he passed, the government, everybody else started Ryan White programs. So Ryan White programs help those individuals who are HIV positive to get treatment, to get insurance, to get all of the above and everything else surrounding it. So not only do I helping with getting services provided and helping to get, medications and all that good stuff paid, but there are also surrounding risk factors that go into that. Some people might be homeless. So Ryan White program also helps with housing issues, financial issues, nutritional issues. They have food pantries that are involved. We have mental health. We have dental, vision, all of that stuff. So when I see a person that's in that realm, I try to cover them with all those bases. It's a lot, and I'm talking a lot. So when you're listening, it might be overwhelming, but to me, it's easy.
They got pause and playback, so.
No, it's all good. But listen, it's all good. But what I'm saying is, when we talk about it's like it's a blur. But the good thing, the good scenario is we're affiliated with all of the care sites, Bellflower, and I work for Community Health, y'all. So we're affiliated with Bellflower, and there are 7 care sites in Indianapolis, in the Marion County surrounding Grant area. There is Community Health, there's Eskenazi, there's Life Care, there is Concord Center, there is Damien Center, there is, I'm missing 1 or 2, Step Up. That's 6.
These are the resources, y'all.
I'm missing 1, so I might come back to it. I'm just going in my head, but those are resource individuals that will help you with getting Ryan White services. Typical good day for me. Seeing a person who's been on the grind, seeing a person who comes to me, and I'm gonna tell y'all this too, and I'm gonna add this to it. So people that are HIV positive, I'm talking women only, there are some women that were HIV positive that have had healthy babies while they were positive. Because they start on regimen, they start on medication while they're pregnant, and then there's babies. So when they have their babies, the baby's obviously tested once they're born. They're undetectable. I don't want to say undetectable. They don't have HIV at all. But they have to come back within certain spans, 3 months, 6 month spans, to get tested again to make sure. And so those are some of the good things that when you see a person that's pregnant, that's been taking their medication, and then the ones that just tell you flat out thank you for what you've done and being in their lives. I don't know, and I don't want to be like biased, but it's just me because I love my community so much. But we are so disproportionate with health initiatives and going to the doctors and getting physicals and all of that good stuff. So when I do see our people coming in, I think I gravitate a little bit more because I want to make sure that they know, because we genuinely just don't know. And I'm gonna say thank y'all to you guys for inviting me to this, because I never in my wildest dream thought I'd be doing something like this.
Well, that's what I mean. We want to help. You know what I mean? Help the community, help each other. That's what we're trying to do, is, you know, inform people. One thing we try to do on this show is provide guests that are knowledgeable about what they're talking about, so that we're not feeding the misconception, we're not feeding the ignorance. You know what I mean? We're making people actually knowledgeable and being able to have conversations that are true. Because like you said, people are talking and they don't know what they're talking about, and then somebody else will be like, oh, your tongue is white. It's like, oh, don't they heard she got HIV when she smokes weed? Like, you go get tested, you know what I mean? Or just it's just wild out here. But there's a lot of people I know that are scared to get tested for the same scenarios, you know, that you said. They've been out here maybe, you know, having irresponsible moments, and they're just scared to death, and they may or may not have it, and they're out here, you know, giving it away or dealing with. Derek was actually telling me of a person that he knows that really was kind of going like mentally insane, thinking they had it, but all they had to do was get tested and find out they did not have it, you know. So it's so easy.
We talked about it. I know who that was too, but. And then once again, you know, full disclosure, I don't. This is me. My life's an open book.
Right.
Like, I got family members who, you know, who was HIV. I had a family member died of AIDS. But you know, being untreated. And then I'm gonna also add this too, and this is for the parents. Talk to your kids about sex and how it affects you and them and everything else, because I'm gonna tell y'all this: the last 2 or 3 months with my new infected individuals, they have been teens. They have been...
We talking like 13, 14, 15?
Nah, I'm talking like 17, 18, and 21.
Young adults, real young.
Young adults. And the sad part about it is because they are more social media savvy. They see those commercials, and I think some of the attitude sometimes is, okay, I got HIV, I just take my pill every day.
But at such a young age, why put your body in that cycle at such a young age if you can prevent it?
You don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I can remember, like, back in the day, we had those little letters that the school sent home to you to talk about sex, and your mama got to sign it, your daddy got to sign it.
Yeah.
And even though they talked about birds and the bees, it's tough because honestly, y'all, we live in a sexual time.
Yeah.
People having good times, we having good fun. There's the Gen Zs and all of them people. They come from, it's open. Everything is open.
Yeah, I think so many people are worried. I hear a lot, you know, people run and hurry and just get their kids on birth control because they don't want them to have a baby. It's like, no, but that's one
they're
of the
gonna
things.
do what they're gonna do anyway.
Yeah, but that's one of the things, unfortunately, you know, like it's harder now, but a baby, you can make different decisions on it. If you contract HIV or contract herpes or some of these other things, it is going to be with you. Like we said, it's not a life sentence. You can date and you can go forward, but you know, let's educate. Like you said, your kids are more just like, don't get pregnant. Like, if you're gonna get them on birth control, still, you know, be very, very, very upfront and very emphatic about what risk they're still, you know what I mean, able to get into.
I'm gonna give you a crazy one. So I had a young lady, 24, 25, just had a baby. No, she's pregnant now.
Okay.
Just found out she was pregnant and just found out that she was HIV positive. So she was like, my boyfriend, he's the one that gave it to me, this, that, and the third, because he's got another baby with somebody else. Check it out. He goes to get tested. He didn't want to go at first because he was trying to get back with the other baby mama. The new one was trying to break up the other baby mama, get back.
Okay.
So check it. So she was gung-ho on this is who I got it from. This is who I got it from, and how do I go about getting them tested?
Right.
And, okay, listen. We have DIS through Bellflower. They have individuals who can coach you through talking to your partner.
Okay.
Or talking to the person that you think may have whatever.
Okay.
Anywho, I said, listen, have him call me. I'll talk to him, and we can get him tested.
Okay.
I can take him to a spot, get him tested. It's free, whatever. So he played for a couple days. He was hot, wasn't talking to her no more. Then finally, he go get tested. He's negative. She blows off the handle. Like, I think this test is wrong.
Right.
Like, nah, the test ain't wrong. Your blood test came back as confirmation. So, let's get real.
Just tell me who else you've been fooling with.
Let's get real.
Yeah.
Let's get real. But see, that goes back to my point about talking to your kids about having sex, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Like, making decisions on how risk factors, like you smoke weed and you drink and you see the one you want, oh, I'm hitting that. You ain't thinking about wearing no condom at the time. This is my perfect opportunity. So nobody ever had that conversation with me like, man, if you smoke one, you gonna be high in the mug. It's gonna feel better. But then you gonna wake up that next day and be like,
so rough,
what did I just do?
Yeah.
Right? So now let's get real, Miss Lady. Tell me what's going on, because I can't help you from that point. And then here's the other thing. That person that you have been with has probably been sleeping with other people before you.
And after.
And passing it.
Yeah.
So that's the difficult part about our community, is even though it's 50% of that 5,000 people, we only make up 27% of the population in Indianapolis. So you know how small that circle is?
Yeah.
I know you know the producer, but producer is my cousin.
Right.
But we sleeping in a circle.
Right.
So that's why, to me, I get like all in. I jump all in because I want to let you know, listen, that little dude that you was with, he probably was with your girl.
It could have just been a one night stand. You didn't even, too.
But those are the tough conversations that I have.
So how long after you have unprotected sex with somebody who has HIV?
You don't know.
So how long, say if a person, they wake up and they're like, oh shit.
So here's what you do.
Let me go get tested. They're not gonna be able to know in 10 hours, are they?
But here's what you do. So to alleviate all of that, they have PrEP, Genvoya, and you can go to the doctor and say, hey, I just slept with somebody unprotected. You go to the emergency room.
Okay.
Within 72 hours.
Okay.
You can go get.
So you got a 72-hour window.
You get 72
that if you
hours.
may or may not been contracted with something, you can get something.
You can
get
on that. Yep. Get on something. Just keep it going, and then
so you have to get on and keep it going.
Just 72. Yeah, no, just for like a. Just,
okay.
You know,
okay.
Because you don't know. You don't know within that time frame. You just know I had unprotected sex. I don't know if they had anything.
Okay. Now, what if you had unprotected sex with somebody and you find out 6 months later that they were HIV positive?
You got to do what you got to do.
And then you go get tested and say you're negative. Are you good? Or should you wait another 9 months?
That's a wild scenario. Say that again.
If you with somebody, you had sex with them, unprotected sex, and then you find out 6 months later or 3 months later that they are positive, that they have HIV.
So you don't want to get tested again. Go get tested again.
So in 3 months, is that enough time for it to have showed up?
Yeah, for sure.
2 weeks enough time for it to show up?
I can't give you that because that's not a CDC defined answer.
Okay.
Because you never know. Everybody's different. Everybody's body type is different.
Well, you don't want somebody to be like, well, I had sex. I went in, 2 weeks after they said I'm good, and they.
Right, you know how it is. Right, but you know how it is when you have sex with somebody, and it's from male perspective, and you know you burning like a week later.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can't. Tomorrow I might not be burning after I had sex with her, but like maybe 4 days later, I'm like, oh, this shit don't feel right.
Okay.
So it's not a defined answer, but you can get it tested as many times as you want. You know what I'm saying? But then here's the thing: they'll put you in a category too. So if you go get tested many times, then you out there being promiscuous. So somebody's gonna call you anyway and say, hey. Your insurance company might call you and say, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? because you're going to get tested every 3 months. Wrap that shit up. Yeah, get you some, girl. You better get on something. You know, they got female condoms too.
Okay.
Dental dams. If you love giving head, if you love doing, they got dental dams you can put in your mouth, and you can use that too.
Do your services provide those?
All of that.
Okay.
All of that. You gotta ask for it. So while we're getting into that, the tough part for us too is this new administration.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Cut funding. You know, everybody around the city, and not just in the health field, but all other realms of whatever your professionalism is, they cut funding. So just a couple months ago, we went through that, community went through that with the Ryan White program. They cut our funding, so we had to cut down one medical case manager. Just fortunate he found a job before they cut, but they cut us to 2. So our caseload is skyrocketed off the hook. So that means I went from 70 patients I see to 130, 120 within the last couple of months, and still have to make sure that you get what you need.
That's why I would say you're still able to provide the care.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's tough when you get funding cut. You feel like you can't do a lot of the stuff that you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And that includes like, you might need some Pampers for your baby or something, but that resource is cut. Can't get it. You might. So
is it affecting people being able to receive medication?
No, well, in certain aspects. So, with community, we have what is called our MedAssist program, and we have a person that's through community by itself. So, we have people that looks up and finds grants for people that need medication. Okay. Whether they're on Medicare, whether they have private insurance, or whether they have insurance through Ryan White Services. We have that service, but you can already see the effects with having monies cut, meaning that grant that used to be available used to be $10,000, now it's $7,500 to last you for the year. So copay assistance, stuff like that, but we can already see that. That's already been happening.
Okay, well, all these things have to be taken into consideration when you also vote, but we're not going to get into that.
For sure.
But
yeah,
I think we have provided the people with a lot of information today, Jermaine.
Yeah, shit. Wear condoms.
Wear condoms. Know your status. And handle your business. Take care of yourself. Take care of your community. Was there anything else that you think we haven't covered that you would like to add? I'm trying to think.
I think you just touched it on the head. Once again, you got to nail that in. Know your status, number one. Get tested. And then if you are, there are some resources that are available. Me, number one. I can leave my name and number, my direct line. I work at Community Infectious Disease Clinics. So that means I have a hub at Community North, Community South as needed. I'm at Community East. I go to Anderson sometimes, but I'm here. So, and I have a team. There's a squad of 3 of us, 3 medical case managers. We have 2 mental health specialists and counselors, licensed mental health specialists. And then we have 2 testers and 2 outreach individuals. So we can come to your house. We can help you if you need be. You just got to be willing.
One thing before we leave, and I'm going to touch on this, we're going to keep it short. I also know not one other person, but somebody else who has HIV, and they were trying to take care of it holistically. They were not taking the medicine. I also don't think they were doing it holistically either, but I think they thought that would be the idea. I know from a medical standpoint and provider, you do not suggest that, right?
You know what? I'm gonna switch my stance on it because
Dr. Sabi said he cured it. He said he cured the HIV, the herpes.
We ain't seen it. I ain't seen it. But here's the thing. Okay. I've seen some. You read stuff sometimes, and there's some people over in Africa that they're the highest population of HIV. Period.
Okay.
In Africa, but the holistic approach. I just haven't seen a lot of data on it.
Okay.
But for what I know is, and this is all CDC defined stuff, is that the ARVs, which is antiretroviral and antiretroviral therapy, the ARTs, those are the medications. Those are things that have shown
that proven
the efficacy of people maintaining their undetectable status, people coming from their AIDS status to their undetectable status. I just haven't heard or seen anything related to holistic medications on my end.
Okay.
So I don't want to say I don't advise it.
But get tested. I mean, if you go that route, you can go get tested, right? You can get your levels tested.
They'll tell you.
And things like that. If you want to.
I'm gonna add this one too. So some of y'all might not have heard this. There are certain people that are elite controllers.
What does that
mean? Very few. So those are some people that are HIV positive that have maintained their undetectable status without taking any medication.
Don't try that at home.
No. This has just been proven that certain people are elite controllers.
Okay.
Go look it up. You will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Those are the individuals. There are very few individuals that do not take antiretroviral medications or antiretroviral therapies that are undetectable with HIV.
So would those people consider themselves cured?
It's what you want to call it. I don't say cure because we just mentioned it. I'll be a hypocrite because I told you you can't get, you can't.
I was just wondering if that's what those people consider themselves, like Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson, but you got to think about Eazy-E. He had AIDS.
Yeah.
But late 80s, Eazy-E died of AIDS because no one knew what the cure was.
Yeah.
So the doctor that I worked for when I first started being in HIV services, the doctor that I worked for was Dr. Robert Baker. He just retired last year. And he was one of the first individual, Dr. Robert Baker and Dr. I'm missing the blank. Anyway, they were the first two, Dr. Norris, Bob Norris. They were the first two individuals in Indianapolis to do HIV treatment.
Okay.
And what he told me was that then when they started HIV medications, you only had AZT and a tripla, right?
Okay.
But we didn't know what a tripla and AZT was doing to your body. How it was weakening your bones and how it was all of that good stuff. So this is why I say the holistic stuff, we don't know what those things are doing to you.
Right.
We don't know, there's no scientific data to say it's not affecting your prostate or whatever, anything. You know what I'm saying? So the medications have come from being horrible to being like, come on, give me that.
Like taking a leave every day.
Exactly.
Okay.
So.
Well, y'all, hope you all found out today that HIV is not a life sentence. You can take care of yourself. You can date. You can do preventative measures not to catch it. You can do preventative measures not to give it. Condoms, testing, PrEP, all type of things. And if you need any more information, feel free to reach out to Jermaine Couch. Feel free to comment, on the page, on our YouTube, and we'll also make sure that we provide numbers and information to help you get what you're looking for. So this
you want me to give my number?
You can give it to him right now if you like to.
I'm lying. I ain't giving y'all my. No, I'm just playing. Listen.
Please give it to him.
So listen. 317-621-1696. My email address is jcouch. That's JCOUCH as in Harry. At ecommunity.com. Make sure you put the E in front of community, or so it will not come to me. And I will help answer all your questions if you are HIV positive or not. And if I can't answer it, I will definitely lead you to where you need to be to get those questions answered.
Can you give them the number and email one more time in case they missed it?
Phone number 317-621-1696. That's my direct line, y'all, so it comes to my cell phone when I'm working. I don't work on Sundays. So Monday through Friday. Email address is JCOUCH, like sofa, at ecommunity.com.
All right, well, it's Miss Dopalicious signing off. Another great episode of Posting Presents the Show. Thanks again, and thank you again. Peace.
Yes, sir.